I want to tell you about the future of money. Let's start with a story about this culture that lived in Micronesia in the early 1900s called the Yap. Now, I want to tell you about the Yap because their form of money is really interesting. They use these limestone discs called rye stones. Now, the Yap don't actually move these rye stones around or exchange them the way that we do with our coins because rye stones can get to be pretty massive. The largest is about 4 tons and 12 feet across. So the Yap just kind of keep track of who owns what part of what stone. Now, there's a story about these sailors that were transporting a stone across the ocean when they ran into some trouble and the stone actually fell in. Now, the sailors got back to the main island and they told everyone what had happened. And everyone decided that actually, yes, the sailors had the stone and why not? It still counted, even though it was at the bottom of the ocean. It was still part of the Yap economy. Now, you might think that this was just a small culture 100 years ago, but things like this happen in the Western world as well, and the Yap actually still use a form of these stones. In 1932, the Bank of France asked the United States to convert their holdings from dollars into gold. But it was too inconvenient to actually think about shipping all of that gold over to Europe. So instead, someone went to where that gold is being stored, and they just labeled it as belonging to France now. And everyone agreed that France owned the gold. It's just like those rye stones. The point I want to make with these two examples is that there's nothing inherently valuable about a dollar or a stone or a coin. The only reason that these things have any value is because we've all decided that they should. And because we've decided that, they do. Money is about the exchanges and the transactions that we have with each other. Money isn't anything objective. It's about a collective story that we tell each other about value, a collective fiction. And that's a really powerful concept. In the past 2 decades, we've begun to use digital money. So I get paid via direct deposit, I pay my rent via bank transfer, I pay my taxes online, and every month a small amount of money is deducted from my paycheck and invested in mutual funds in my retirement account. All of these interactions are literally just changing ones and zeros on computers. There's not even anything physical like a stone or a coin. Digital money makes it so that I can pay someone around the world in seconds. Now, when this works, it's because there are large institutions underwriting every 1 or 0 that changes on a computer. And when it doesn't, it's often the fault of those large institutions, or at least it's up to them to fix the problem. And a lot of times they don't. There's a lot of friction in the system. How long did it take the US credit card companies to implement chip and PIN? Half my credit cards still don't work in Europe. That's friction. Transferring money across borders and across currencies is really expensive. Friction. An entrepreneur in India can set up an online business in minutes, but it's hard for her to get loans and to get paid. Friction. Our access to digital money and our ability to freely transact is being held captive by these gatekeepers. And there's a lot of impediments in the system slowing things down. That's because digital money isn't really mine, it's entries in databases that belong to my bank, my credit card company, or my investment firm. And these companies have the right to say no. If I'm a PayPal merchant and PayPal wrongly flags me for fraud, that's it. My account gets frozen and I can't get paid. These institutions are standing in the way of innovation. How many of you use Facebook Photos, Google Photos, Instagram? My photos are everywhere. They are on my phone, they're on my laptop, they're on my old phone, they're in Dropbox, they're on all these different websites and services. And most of these services don't work together. They don't interoperate. And as a result, my photo library is a mess. Now, the same thing happens when institutions control the money supply. A lot of these services don't interoperate, and as a result, this blocks what we can do with payment, and it makes transaction costs go up. So far, we've been through two phases of money. In an analog world, we had to deal with these physical objects, and money moved at a certain speed, the speed of humans. In a digital world, money can reach much farther and is much faster, but we're at the mercy of these gatekeeper institutions. Money only moves at the speed of banks. We're about to enter a new phase of money. The future of money is programmable. When we combine software and currency, money becomes more than just a static unit of value, and we don't have to rely on institutions for security. In a programmable world, we remove humans and institutions from the loop. And when this happens, we won't even feel like we're transacting anymore. Money will be directed by software, and it will just safely and securely flow. Cryptocurrencies are the first step of this evolution. Cryptocurrencies are digital money that isn't run by any government or any bank. It's money designed to work in a world without intermediaries. Bitcoin is the most ubiquitous cryptocurrency, but there are hundreds of them. There's Ethereum, Litecoin, Stellar, Dogecoin, and those are just a few of the more popular ones. And these things are real money. The sushi restaurant down my street takes Bitcoin. I have an app on my phone that I can use to buy sashimi. But it's not just for small transactions. In March, there was a transaction that moved around 100,000 Bitcoins. That's the equivalent of 40 million US dollars.